Index is an omni-channel marketplace bringing together buyers and sellers in the most efficient way possible globally. Really exciting business. We're all about performance. We're all about bringing the buyers, those who are seeking to connect with audiences, and our publishers, broadcasters, websites, app developers, helping them monetize their inventory and their users.
Let me ask you, Index's specific involvement in CTV, what's that been like? What's the journey been like? How's it worked?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. I would go so far as to say this is still somewhat new territory for Index. We've got a long history in web, and recently, I would say within the last few years, we recognized obviously the importance of video, particularly the importance of CTV. It's seen meteoric growth, as we all know, over the course of the pandemic, and so in that period, we've really started to invest heavily into the channel. And we've found opportunities to really help develop and grow the channel in all sorts of meaningful ways, adding value and the knowledge that we have from other channels into this very unique new format. Streaming, of course, commercial breaks, the ad podding. We're familiar with that experience on the television, but now consumption is happening digitally, and the opportunity to bring advertising in a really lean back, living room type of setting is one that's particularly exciting for us.
Everything you just talked about begs for standards, and in CTV, that's always one of the things we talk about. How do we go about elevating the standards?
Wonderful question. Perhaps the most important consideration that we as the sort of framework providers, if you will, the standards providers in terms of how these communications occur between buyers and sellers. It's one of the most important things that we need to be focused on at the moment. The pace at which consumption patterns in CTV have grown have not been met with the standards in terms of the evolution of those standards. That being said, IAB Tech Lab, along with some folks on our product team, have helped to co-author the new protocol 2.6, and this now allows us to really leverage the full capability of the pipes, providing better signal quality, ensuring things like competitive separation, avoiding ad duplication, better optimization and yield controls for the buyers. It really brings, I think, the full capabilities to bear. Is it the final sort of resting point? No, it's 2.6, it's not 3.0 just yet, but certainly a meaningful step forward. Now, in order for us to fully capitalize on the opportunity, we all need to get on board. And we all being certainly the supply side, the exchanges, the SSPs, DSPs need to have full support for this as well. But the implications are significant, the opportunities are meaningful, and so we're really trying to push for these standards to be widely adopted.
In getting everyone on board and widely adopted, as you said, give me some more aspects around 2.6 as to why this becomes and should be a prevailing standard.
Sure. In addition to some of the important dimensions that it helps address, sustainability is another really, really critical one. For obvious reasons, we need to do a better job as an industry to reduce our carbon emissions. That is yet another advantage or advancement of 2.6. We recently did a case study, in fact, involving ourselves, Trade Desk, and Scope 3 for measurement. And we're not talking about incremental changes. It was an 84% reduction in carbon emissions as a result of leveraging this new protocol. And so the opportunities are significant, both commercially, but sustainability is a really important aspect to this as well that we're particularly excited about. It's why we're advocating so passionately for it, because it's really an all boats rise scenario, and we're such strong believers in the importance of standards. And so if we can elevate them in this manner, I think we all win.
I think standards, you're right, we all win, and sustainability is really key. If we take a look at your place within this ecosystem, when we look at it through an advertiser's lens, and we look at it, and you're going to have a conversation later tonight, say, with someone, and they have two obsessions really about building sales and about building brands.
Yes.
How do you articulate where you come in through that lens?
Yeah, I mean, I think you nailed it in terms of building brands, building visibility. To a large extent, programmatic is ultimately about driving performance, driving results. That can manifest in any number of ways for a marketer or advertiser. It can be driving individuals into a store to purchase a pair of shoes. It can be tied back to an app installation. All sort of various manners of performance or outcomes that the marketer is seeking. is ultimately what we're accountable for. We are accountable to the user for a great experience. We're accountable to the seller for helping to monetize their inventory and maintain that user experience. For the advertiser, it's about making that connection in a way that yields some kind of outcome or result. And that's where we can really be impactful.
It sounds like a great dialogue point and something that you can get into, rich conversations about. For this festival, for Cannes, for this year, what's been unique to you about your experience so far this year at Cannes?
I've never felt wind quite like this before, which has been both interesting and alarming, and certainly it helps with the heat. I think last year people were sort of dipping their toes in the water. It was sort of the return. I think this year the enthusiasm that I'm generally feeling is incredibly infectious. In the best possible way. Infectious is probably the wrong word to use on the heels of a pandemic, but in the most positive way, I think that there's this desire to be back in person. We're feeling it, there's less apprehension, and my hope is that that's indicative of what we can expect, not only in the second half of this year, but as we move into 24 and beyond. I think that there is a real intention to build and grow and get back to where we were, certainly post-pandemic, but also moving beyond that. The growth in our corner of the market in digital, and specifically around automation, is seeing a ton of attention within streaming, but across all channels. And I'm definitely feeling that here at Cannes this year. And it's why we're here, it's why we're connecting, and why we're so excited to see what's in store.